Hello and welcome to Krishna Fest 2021. Have you ever thought why the same situation can have a different consequence in different people's lives? How is it that some of us are able to take failures as stepping stones, while for some others it could mean the end of the world? Why do emotions play such an important role in our lives? Do our emotions control us, or can we take charge of our emotions? To know more about these questions and many more things, I invite you all to be a part of this workshop today with our special guest, Mrs. Pavitra Shanbag. It is my great pleasure and honor to introduce Mrs. Pavitra Shanbag to all of us. She is a clinical psychologist and she has done her RECBT from Albert Ellis Institute, New York. She has also been counseling young adults and couples for over 2 decades. So join me in this attempt, in this workshop, to learn more about us and about our emotions. Pavitra ji, it is such a pleasure to have you amidst us today. Thank you for agreeing to be with us.
Thank you, Subhita.
Well, I think emotions form such an important part of our lives. But the question arises that why are emotions so important, and why do we need to manage our emotions? And of course, then how do we manage our emotions as well? There is so much about emotions, and we would want to know more about this from you.
Subhita, we are all part of the solar system, right? The Earth is one of the planets. We get our energy, light from the sun.
Right.
But it is researched that if the Earth were to be even this much closer to the sun than what it is right now, there's a chance of all human beings getting burnt. And if it goes further away a little bit than what it is doing, then we can get frozen, right? So emotions, but the sun is very important for us, right? The sun is very, very important for our life. Similarly, emotions play a very important role in our life. If you see, they motivate us, they color our decisions. The entire advertising industry runs on emotions. Today, if you see practically every advertisement, whether it's about hosiery or butter, it is linked to emotions, right? Because they know that that's what makes the human beings tick.
Yeah.
So, just as the earth should not be closer or further, similarly, emotions also have to be used sparingly. They are like salt. If we have too much of salt in our food, we won't be able to eat it. If we don't have any salt in our food, we won't be able to eat it. So therefore, we have to balance the emotions that are there in our life. What would life be without emotions? Have you ever seen a drama where there are no emotions? So when we think of drama, what comes to our mind? Emotions, right? A drama or a movie? No. Without emotions, it would not be so entertaining or so attractive to the general populace. So that's why it's so easy to remember a story or a song, because it has emotions. But to remember dry, hard facts in school about geography, it's very difficult to remember. Therefore, emotions are very important. This brings to my mind a story that I heard in my childhood.
Please.
Have you heard about the story of the lady and her pet mongoose?
I would love to hear it.
Okay. So I'll tell it in short. So this lady, she had a pet mongoose.
Yes.
And she had a baby also, her own child.
Right.
One day she had to go out somewhere.
Right.
She kept the child in the cradle and she told her pet mongoose, so that, take care of my child. So pets learn, right? They may not know the exact words you're speaking, but they understand what you're saying. So she left the baby and she went to get something or do some household chores. When she was away, a snake entered that room. And we know that the snake and mongoose, they are arch rivals.
Yes.
And the mongoose was watching over the baby. It immediately attacked the snake and killed it. So there was blood all over the mongoose body and face. So when this lady came back, the mongoose rushed towards her as if, showing,
Ah,
waiting for that appreciation and
Yes.
so that, look, I have protected your baby.
yeah.
But when the lady saw the mongoose, all along she was worrying, when she went to the wherever market and came back, I hope the mongoose doesn't do something to the baby. The first time I've left my baby alone like that. And when she saw the blood, the first thought that came to her mind was, this mongoose has killed my child. And there was a stick lying nearby. Without thinking even once, she picked up the stick and beat the mongoose. It died. It was very old. And then she went into the room and she saw her baby and it was gurgling, moving its legs like this in the cradle. And then she saw the dead snake and she said, oh no. She cried. But that didn't bring the mongoose back to life. So that's what emotions do. When we have intense emotions or very unhealthy emotions, then sometimes we don't think. How many of us actually ponder or wait, pause when some very adverse event occurs and think that, okay, I'm having this thought in my mind. How do I know it's true? Just because I think something doesn't mean it's true. What evidence do I have for what I am proposing, what my mind is proposing? We don't. Right? We don't. And therefore we might take wrong actions, destructive actions that we would regret later. Or based on our thought we may not take any action, then we will not be able to move forward. So therefore we have to manage. The importance of managing our emotions.
Wow, wow. I think this was wonderfully explained by you, especially in that little story that you spoke. It is so true. Sometimes we get so carried away by our emotions that we may end up doing something which we may actually regret later on. So that was really wonderful. Thank you.
So maybe we'll take a minute break from what I am talking
Ji.
and all of us can just reflect on something.
Yes,
So you close your eyes.
yes.
Everyone who's listening to this can close their eyes and just think for a minute. Has there been a recent incident in your life, or when was there an incident in your life when you experienced an intense emotion, where something very serious has happened and you are experiencing this intense emotion? What were you thinking about the situation at that time? How did you feel? What emotion were you experiencing? What physical changes were you feeling in your body? A knot in your stomach, sweaty palms, a feeling of your throat being constricted, your heartbeat increasing. What were you thinking? How were you feeling? What did you do, or what did you think of doing? You can slowly open your eyes. So were you able to relive the situation?
Yes.
That's emotions for you. You don't forget them easily. Right? It may have happened quite some time back. But because there are emotions, you don't forget. When there are negative emotions, there are more chances you will not forget or forgive in situations. Right? Actually, let's write this down.
Sure.
You take your page and you make 3 columns on that page.
Right.
Okay. You can call them A, B and C.
Right.
So A is for the activating event or the adverse event. B is for the belief. What we think about the situation. And C is for consequences. Physical, as in what we feel in the body when we are scared or angry or whatever. We feel a lot of changes in our body, physiological changes.
Yeah.
Then is the emotional, what we are feeling.
Right.
Are we feeling anger? We are feeling anxiety, guilt, whatever we are feeling.
Yeah.
And the third one is behavioral. What we do. Like someone may bang a door and go out. Somebody may slap another person. Somebody may start crying. Somebody may collapse. So different behavioral responses or reactions could be there, right, to an emotion. So now let's take an example. Supposing you send a message to your friend and you see a blue tick, which means she has seen it. But she hasn't responded. Few minutes go by, 10 minutes go by, 15 minutes go by, and she hasn't responded to your message. What is the thought that could cross your mind?
Well, generally, if I know my friends, I give them the benefit of doubt. I would not jump to a conclusion. I would probably think she's busy, or maybe she's got her hands into something and she's unable to revert. Generally, that's the direction.
That's wonderful. You should be conducting this seminar, this workshop. Okay, so that's the right way.
Yeah.
You observe an incident,
Yes.
and then you think about something which would be the logical, logical thought, and you see whether there's any evidence for what you're thinking. Right? So you have had past experiences, and you know that generally people are busy, they may not, answer immediately, and you have experience of doing that yourself also.
Yeah.
Right? Many times what happens, we have a certain rule for ourselves and different rules for others, right? So that's another topic, so I won't start that. But it could be that if I were in your place, let's visualize that maybe I may think like this, that maybe I did something wrong the last time we met, maybe I did not do what she asked me to do, or maybe she misunderstood the way I spoke. Or if I were in your place, maybe I would think maybe when I was interviewing her I asked the wrong question, so she's upset with me, right? So, and then I might start feeling so guilty. Then I might feel I should not, I should not message her actually. I don't know what she's thinking about me right now, and I have done the wrong thing. And I may delete the message. Because within half an hour you can delete, right? I may even delete the message. There may be another person who thinks, oh, what does she think about herself? She's become so busy, so important that now she doesn't need to respond to her friends' messages. Okay, then even I have nothing to do with such a person. Off my list, removed from contacts, right? So you see that, different people behave in different ways, right? Different people behave in, we see so many different ways of thinking and behaving, right? So this is what we get to learn. What do we get to learn? That in spite of the A being the same, that is the activating event, that she did not answer the message. But there could be different consequences. What behaviors people engage in might be different. If I'm angry, I may bang the door and go, I may remove her from my contacts, I may go into depression, I may feel guilty, and I may engage in different behaviors. So in spite of the A being the same, as you rightly said in the beginning, what makes people behave differently or react or respond differently? That's what we are talking about. That's why we need to manage our emotions.
Wow, this is so deep. I mean, it really takes us to a situation where I think there's more to be learnt now, and so eager to know more about how we could balance ourselves and balance our emotions.
Yeah, so we just spoke about how, in spite of the A, you have written that A, B and C, right?
Yes.
So A is the activating event. It could be anything. It could be anything. Something that has happened to someone or not happened to someone. Someone says something that you want them to say, someone doesn't say. what you want them to say. So how do you think about it? How do you react or respond? So what happens is that what we think about the situation is more important. When we see an event, there is a philosopher called Epictetus who has mentioned that it is not the events in themselves, but how we perceive them, what we think about them, that causes the consequence. And we saw this here.
Yes. Yes.
The event was the same for everyone.
Yes.
This message was not responded to.
Right.
But how different people perceived it, that actually decided what emotions they would experience and subsequently what behaviors they would show.
Yeah.
Right? So therefore, what is most important of all these is the B, belief.
Belief. Yes.
So there is a therapy called rational emotive behavioral therapy.
Right.
So rational refers to the belief. Rational is a particular way of thinking.
Right.
So when we think, we have to first check, like if that lady, we have to check for whether what I'm thinking, is it logical?
Yeah.
What does logical mean?
Yeah.
Like if I tell you 5 plus 6 is equal to 11, that means 11 minus 6 should be equal to 5 or 11 minus 5 should be equal to 6.
Yes.
That's very logical.
Yes.
Would it change if we were in Delhi, South Africa,
No.
in the Atlantic Ocean, in Mars, Neptune, Pluto? Of course, our laws are not so flexible. Yeah, they are not so uniformly used. But logical means if I say something, then it logically follows that something else should happen.
Yes.
So if I have a belief that this must happen, so if it is logical, then it would have happened. For example, if I say that everyone should respect me. So if this is logical, what I am saying, that everyone should respect me, that means it's actually a law. Like in maths, we have laws,
Yeah.
right? A plus B is equal to C, that means C is equal to, C minus A is equal to B and C minus B is equal to A.
A.
So it's logical.
Yes.
But if that is not happening, that means what we are talking or what we are demanding is not logical. Right? So just because I say that people must respect me, it doesn't necessarily mean that it would happen.
Right.
But wanting respect, is it bad?
No.
Wanting respect, everyone wants appreciation, approval, respect.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean that we will get it. So when does the problem come? When we demand it. So wanting something is our preference. But when we start demanding it,
Yes.
what is demand? Demand means I want something and therefore I must have it. Right? When I say I must have it, it means it is the end of the world if I don't get it. It's terrible.
Yeah.
When I don't get it, I can't tolerate it, and either it means that that person is bad who has not respected me,
Yes.
so he or she should be punished, or it means I am worthless because nobody is respecting me.
Yeah.
Right? So what we are thinking will determine the emotion. Because if we think they are bad,
Yeah.
they have not followed the rule which I made, that I must be respected
Right.
or I must be obeyed, supported, whatever.
Right.
If I think like that, then what is the emotion that might come? Can you guess?
Like you said, I mean, it will be an extreme emotion, either something which could be hurtful to me or something hurtful to the other person.
So if it is hurtful to the other person, which emotion do you think it would be?
It's a negative emotion,
Yes.
and it's probably not healthy, it's not good.
No, just guess the emotion. You experience
okay.
so many
Okay.
emotions. Just
Yes,
guess the
yes.
emotion.
So I could probably feel angry on
Yes,
them.
it's anger.
Yes.
It's anger.
Yes.
So when we have certain rules,
Yeah.
I should be in control, things must go my way.
Yes.
And when they don't work out that way, and I have said what? They must go my way. Then when they don't go my way, I experience anger.
Anger.
Right? Similarly, if I have some other belief, then I would experience some other emotion. So it is our belief which makes us experience a particular emotion. And most of the time when we are focusing on factors which are beyond our control,
Right.
right? That's when the emotion becomes even more intense, because we don't have control, so it may not work out the way we want.
Right, right.
So there's one formula for happiness, that happiness is the gap between reality and expectation.
Ji.
I want 5 mangoes
Yeah.
and that's I get 8.
Hmm.
So reality is 8, expectation was 5.
5.
So I will be happy.
Happy.
But I want 5 mangoes and I get 1. Sad, right?
Yeah.
Or angry or whatever.
Yeah.
So can we change reality all the time? Sometimes we can,
Yeah.
sometimes we can't,
Yes.
right? But supposing we want to be happy and the reality is not changing,
Yes.
then what can we do?
Maybe change the way we think.
Yes, we can adjust our expectations,
Ah.
right?
Yes.
But if we stick to our point, we are not flexible,
Yeah.
then what will happen? Our distress will be more.
Yeah.
One is the distress because I didn't get enough mangoes to eat. Okay? Maybe in my next shows you should give me mangoes to eat. Yeah? So I didn't get enough mangoes to eat,
Yeah.
but we cause more distress to ourselves when we think that they did not give me the mangoes and therefore they are bad.
Yeah.
Then that anger causes more distress to us than just not getting the mangoes.
Yeah.
Right? So in this way, when we focus on factors which are beyond our control, if I get angry that my friend has not sent the message,
Right.
her sending the message is not in my control. Right?
Yeah.
So those are beliefs. Those are, that's the way they work.
Wow. So it's so amazing that how what we think can determine what the consequence will be, and if we are able to change the way we think, or like you said, change our beliefs, we could probably make the consequence more fruitful, more nicer, and like you said, more happier for us, right?
Yes.
Oh,
So
that's amazing.
There's a very beautiful prayer called the Serenity Prayer.
Yes.
And there it says that, oh God, give me the courage
Yeah.
to accept the things that I cannot change.
Right.
Yeah. Give me the oh God, give me the serenity
Yeah.
to accept the things that I cannot change,
Right.
to give me the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. What we call Vivek Buddhi in
Ji, ji.
Sanskrit,
Ji.
the discriminatory power to know
Yeah. Yeah.
what is favorable, unfavorable, what is appropriate, inappropriate.
Right.
So what is changeable and what is unchangeable. To be flexible. That's the third part of being rational. Logical,
Yeah.
realistic, flexible and goal oriented. That what is my goal? What is it that I want to achieve?
Right.
Now when you read your friend's message and you think in a particular way, what exactly is your goal when you type a message to your friend?
To get a response, to get a respond whether
Yeah. The response comes later, but what is the first step? What are you trying to do when you are sending a message?
trying to convey what's on my mind or what I need, probably tell them what I need.
You're trying
or-
to communicate,
Yes.
you're trying to connect.
Yes, yes,
Yeah?
yes.
So when you connect, if you connect properly and you respond properly, there is more chance they will respond.
Yes.
If we become angry and write a very harsh reply to her, that don't, I won't send you any messages henceforth and all, what are the chances that she would respond?
Yeah.
Very few. For example, if there's a woman, she wants that her husband should spend time with her every day, and husband is coming home at 10 o'clock every night, and she is disturbed.
Right.
So she has this showdown and she tells her husband, you must come at 6 o'clock every day. He says, but I work in the office, I can't come by 6. She says, you must. So just to pacify her, he says, okay, I'll try, but I can't promise. Okay. And that day he comes home, instead of 10, he comes home at 8 o'clock. So when this lady opens the door, she is already scowling. She is sulking. She is not talking. And when he tells her something, she blows up. That you promised you will come at 6 o'clock and you haven't kept your promise again. So he says, but I tried, look, you said, so she doesn't give him a chance to talk. She goes and bangs the door, locks the room, and remains there, right? So what are the chances that he will want to spend time with her?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, who would like to go and face a lion in the den, right? So there are chances that he may not be able to go and talk to her because she's like
In that
in that mode, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So being flexible means that I accept that okay, you did not come at the time that I told you, but you made an effort to come earlier than what you normally come. So I'm grateful. Thank you for taking this effort, making this effort, right?
Wow.
So what the wife did earlier is called self-defeating behavior. We have a goal, as I said. So rational means logical, being realistic, being flexible, and being focused on our goal. If my goal is that I want to make a better connection with my husband, have better communication, spend time, then I need to behave in a particular way so I can help him to do what I want.
Yes, yes.
Generally we think about what others should do. But what am I doing to make that happen? Right?
Yes.
Otherwise we are engaging in what are called as self-defeating behaviors.
Wow.
So that is rational.
Yeah.
Rational, emotive is emotions. And then the behavior.
Wonderful, wonderful. This was so beautiful, and thank you for actually using examples from our day-to-day lives, because I think it's so easy to connect when you use these examples. Thank you so much. You mentioned about factors which are beyond our control. Are there factors which are in our control as well?
Factors within our control is what I spoke about.
Yes,
Adjusting our expectation or adjusting our belief.
Right.
So what if we have what we call as irrational beliefs or unhealthy beliefs,
Right.
then we go completely opposite to what a rational belief stands for.
Right.
So rational belief is logical, reasonable, realistic, flexible, and goal focused.
Yes.
Whereas irrational belief is completely opposite. So it is illogical,
Yeah.
extreme, that is not reasonable, not balanced.
Yes.
It is unrealistic, it is very rigid,
Yeah.
and it is not at all goal focused. So when you are too rigid and extreme,
Yes.
then what do you get? You get unhealthy, negative emotions. You become, what happens when you have irrational beliefs? You start ruminating.
Yeah.
Do you know what ruminating means?
Just thinking about.
Yeah. When a cow eats,
Yeah.
it eats, chews, and then swallows, and again brings it back in the mouth, again chews it, swallows.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. We keep revisiting those emotions regularly.
Yes.
It is said that when someone speaks harsh words to you, they are throwing words at you. But you take those words, make them into swords, put them into your chest and turn it every day so that one drop of blood comes out, so you don't forget that wound. You don't forget what that person had said to you for the rest of your life. I'm not advocating that, but that's what happens many a time.
Yes.
Right? So being very rigid, being very extreme leads us to even spoiling our relationships, hampering our relationships.
Yeah.
So therefore, these are the irrational beliefs,
Right.
right?
Right.
And the rational beliefs, what do? They help us to focus on what is on hand and to adjust our expectations
Yeah.
rather than try to keep changing reality all the time. Changing reality is not wrong. Trying to change it is not wrong. But when you see that it is beyond my control, you understand that this is something I have to let go of or I have to adjust. For example, a student wants to get into IIT, appears for the JEE exam and doesn't crack the exam. So what should he do?
Try again.
Yeah, he can try again.
Yeah.
Right? But if he thinks that I want to get into JEE and I'll try for it, very good, he'll try. And if he doesn't get in, he may try again.
Yeah.
If the financial circumstances are not favorable, parents have taken a loan and sent him, then he may feel that no, it's okay. I want to enter IIT, but at home the financial situation is not good. I can't afford to take a break of 1 year. So let me just try any other college that I get into, and later BSc, if I'm not able to do, I'll do MSc. tech from IIT. So that's a flexible
Flexibility.
way of thinking. So that's like, what is the factor which is within my control? Sometimes it may be the finances which are not in our control. Whether IIT takes us or not, definitely is not in our control. Right? If I say I want to be the Prime Minister of India and therefore I must, okay, that's something I have decided. What about the crores of public out there? They don't even know me. I don't even know my civics well. You know? So just because we want something, it won't happen.
Yeah.
Right? So we should not, it's better that we accept that I can want something, I can prefer something, but I cannot demand.
Yeah.
I cannot demand. So factor within control is that I can desire something, but I don't demand it.
Yes.
I don't demand it, because ensuring that it will happen may be a factor beyond my control. It will vary.
Yeah.
It will vary from situation to situation. As a parent, my kids must obey me, and all my kids should obey me, and they should obey me all the time. Right? So that will be fiction. It will be on a bookshelf. It doesn't happen. So that, so trying, expecting something which is not in your control, especially when they are teenagers.
Right.
That's the time when you become flexible. What is the factor within your control? To develop a good connection, good communication with your children, spend time with them,
Yeah.
so that they are, there's a more chance of, you know, their reciprocating with you.
Yeah. Wow, this is wonderful. So, making our beliefs such that they are logical, they are realistic, and they are flexible. This can obviously help us lead a better life, and like you've told in so many different ways, be much more happier and be much more probably in charge of our emotions in some way. This is wonderful. We'd want to learn more about this.
So it not only gives us a better life, and as you said, it helps us to manage our emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps us to manage our emotions, and it helps us to lead a better life. It also gives us more empathy towards others also.
Yeah.
Because we realize when someone is behaving badly, sometimes we judge them.
Yeah.
Right? But if we realize that it's not that they are bad, their behavior is not appropriate because their thoughts are not appropriate. So they need help. They are nobody is bad.
Yes.
Like, I remember before I did this course, I used to have so many of these irrational beliefs. Maybe I still do. I mean, they take time to go.
Yes.
Right? We have to be conscious about them.
Yes.
We have to watch our thoughts. Otherwise, they resurface because they become our default setting.
Yeah.
It's like, for example, if you are hearing a particular song every day, say it's A, B, C, D, E that you are hearing every day. So, moment you type A, B, C, the D, E will appear.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's a favorite.
Yeah.
So, that's what happens in our mind. If we are accustomed to thinking in a particular way,
Yeah.
we have certain beliefs which we have got from our own experience, from others, from parents,
Yeah.
from friends. So then we tend to continue thinking in that way. So it takes some effort to make that shift.
Yeah.
But the most important is that why we want to do this. Because when we think in a particular way, then it connects to that particular emotion. Those are the emotions that we will experience. Either we will experience, if we think in a rational way, that is logical, flexible and realistic,
Yes.
right? If we think in that way, we will experience healthy negative emotions. But if we think in an irrational way,
Right.
if we think in a rational way,
Right.
we will experience healthy negative emotions.
Right.
If we think in an irrational way, we will experience unhealthy negative emotions, which sort of make us dysfunctional.
Right, right. Wow, this is quite interesting. I mean, you mentioned healthy negative,
Yes.
and I think I've heard it for the first time. How can an emotion be healthy yet negative? Isn't it a contradiction?
It's not a contradiction. Let's think of it like this. Let's say you are on the 6th story of a building,
Yeah.
right, 6th floor,
Right.
and you want to come to the ground floor,
Right.
and you want to come immediately. Will you jump? No, you can't jump from the sixth floor to the ground floor.
Right.
You would have to pass through the other
Staircase
floors.
or the
So it would be
elevator,
a gradual process.
Yes, yes.
So let's think that you are extremely angry right now, extremely angry because of some incident. And if I tell you right now that Subhita, you should not be angry, you should be positive. I want you to smile and dance. Can you do it?
Ah,
You want to try? No, you won't be able to do it, right? So it is unnatural, or you can say unfair also to certain extent, that somebody can jump from a negative emotion to a positive emotion directly. It means you are not even acknowledging their feelings. Like sometimes we see kids come, they fall down, they come home and they have mud on their face, blood on their knee, and the parent sometimes slaps them. Kyun gira? Why did you fall? It's as if somebody fell purposely, right?
That's
So
happened
you
to me.
take the kid in your arms,
Yeah.
you clean their wound, you put medicine for them, and you talk to them. You try to understand what they are saying.
Yeah.
So when there are difficult situations in our life, or when things don't go our way, what the way we had planned or what we have wanted, there will be some disturbance because we are human,
Right.
right? Yes, there would be more those who have been working on their emotions for a long time, who have done maybe some type of sadhana, a lot of spirituality and stuff like that, Bhagavad Gita and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So for them it might be easier because they have been practicing and that has become their default setting now,
Yeah.
right? That has become their default setting. But for most people,
Yeah.
what would be the situation? We would feel some disturbance, that why did this happen to me, or why didn't I get this? That thought might come in our mind,
Gee.
right?
Gee.
So that is called a healthy negative emotion.
Ah,
So that I am concerned about something,
right.
right? For example, if I am in anxiety about my marks,
Right.
supposing I appeared for an exam now, and I am in anxiety about the marks, what will happen if I am in anxiety? Have you ever had exam anxiety or exam tension? Can you share what you went through at that time?
Well, there have been times where I've forgotten what I've learnt, and there have been times when I've done something so silly, like I would write the wrong question in the wrong answer, interchange basically, do something like that. So yeah, it just plays over you and you do the wrong things. And sometimes it's also happened that I'm so panicked that I know the answer, but I'm unable to pen it down, I'm unable to write it. So yes.
And sometimes moment you go out of the class, you remember the answer.
Oh yes.
That's even worse, right? Why? Because now that anxiety is over.
Gone. Yeah.
So that's what anxiety does. That's what any intense emotion does.
Yeah.
Why? Because here we have what is called as the prefrontal cortex.
Right.
And at the base we have what is called as amygdala, seat of emotions. So prefrontal cortex is the logical part which does the decision making, problem solving. Amygdala handles the emotions. When there are intense emotions, so the energy gets drained out. The energy that the cortex is using is directed to the amygdala.
Right.
So then the cortex can't work properly. Therefore our logical brain doesn't work. Therefore we start doing illogical things and we start saying illogical things, which we regret later on.
Right,
So
right,
therefore
right.
things like meditation and stuff like that also helps. That's another topic.
Sure.
But main point is that when we have irrational beliefs,
Yeah.
we will have unhealthy negative emotions which make us dysfunctional. We don't achieve our goal.
Yeah.
But when we have healthy negative emotions,
Yeah.
instead of anxiety, we have concern.
Yeah.
That I am concerned that I want to do well, I want to crack this exam,
Right.
I want to get more good marks. Then I will not spend my time worrying.
Yeah.
I will make a plan and I will act on that plan.
Yeah.
Right? So there has to be what is called in the corporate world eustress. It's a little bit of stress that is positive, that actually helps you to move forward.
Gee.
Right?
Gee.
So a healthy negative emotion will help you to move forward towards your goal rather than take you behind.
Back. Okay.
So you have concern instead of anxiety. You may be irritated
Yeah.
instead of angry.
Yeah.
If you don't have irritation, you will not communicate to the person what you are feeling.
Yeah.
If you have irritation, you will communicate but peacefully. If you
Right.
are angry, it will come out like a pressure cooker. You know,
Blast.
when the whistle blows, when the vent is closed, it explodes sometimes, the cooker. So not expressing is not good. So therefore, you have to have healthy negative emotions so that you express those,
Right.
but in a healthy manner, in such a way that you are improving the situation and moving towards the goal.
Wow. Wow.
That's what it is.
Oh, this is wonderful. So, what you just mentioned is that if I can, we could actually transform our emotions. So, from being negative and unhealthy to healthy, negative but yet healthy. And I think what I really loved about this one was that this portion, the healthy negative one, it helps you put in effort. It helps you do something that can take you closer to your goal. And that is so beautiful, because otherwise it's always that it's dragging you down and it's not letting you do what you were supposed to do. So this is wonderful.
Maybe you can make a note of these
Sure, yes.
emotions.
Yes.
So you can have 2 columns,
Yes.
and one column you write UNE, that is unhealthy negative emotions,
Yes.
and on this side HNE, that is healthy negative emotions. So for every unhealthy emotion,
Yes.
you have a corresponding healthy emotion, right?
Right.
So you can write on the left side anger,
Yeah.
this side irritation or healthy anger.
Ah.
Yeah. Then you have anxiety,
Yeah. Yes.
this column it will be concern, which helps us to act.
Yeah.
Then you can say guilt. So guilt totally drains away all our energy,
Yeah.
right? But instead of guilt, if you have regret, then you will rectify.
Yeah.
If you are guilty, you will keep justifying.
Yeah.
You will keep justifying. But if you are regretting,
Regretful.
you will rectify. You will take action. And you
Wow.
can write depression, and then there's sadness, and there are many more. Depression,
Right.
and here there's sadness. There are many more. We don't have time for all of them.
sure,
But
sure.
the point is that at least we become conscious.
Yeah.
What do we become conscious of? We become conscious that all this time I was thinking that others are responsible for my emotions,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
My boss gives me anxiety, my wife causes depression, my children cause anger.
Yeah.
So it's as if we have given our remote to them. That here, take, press whichever buttons you want. Somebody presses anger, you become angry. Somebody presses anxiety, you become anxious. That means we have given all our power to them. We have actually delegated our power to them. But when we realize that it is not others, like Epictetus said, it is not events which cause our emotions or events which give us distress.
Yeah.
It is how we perceive,
Perceive it.
what beliefs we have about those events. So now when we think like this, what does it mean? Who can change our beliefs? Only we can change our own belief, right? So that means we have control over our emotions, as you started off. Can we control our emotions, or will we be controlled? So we don't use the word control.
Right.
We don't want to control anyone or anything.
Right.
We want to manage,
Wow.
right? We manage something because it's important for us.
Ji.
So we manage our emotions because they are very important for us. And when we say we are managing our emotions, it means we are responsible. So now that we realize we are responsible for our belief and our emotions,
Yeah.
that means we are getting our power back.
Wow.
Right? It's
Wow.
not with someone else. So that is the process. So there is this beautiful process of how you start implementing this
Ji.
and you apply it in your life just by being conscious, by reflecting on certain events, what we did, what we could do better
Ji.
to improve the emotional, the behavioral consequences that occur.
Ji.
So that's our EBT.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So it is actually possible to use this in our day-to-day life, right? I mean,
Yes.
right, with a little bit of effort, with a little bit of practice, what we are saying is that we will soon be able to bring that shift in our thinking process, in our beliefs, and thus make a complete shift and like you beautifully said, manage our emotions. Wow.
So have you heard of this concept of neuroplasticity?
No.
So what happens is that every time we are thinking or we are saying or seeing something,
Ji.
our brain, it fires neurons. Right? There are synapses that are formed in the brain.
Right.
Neural pathways are formed in the brain.
Right.
And when we keep doing those activities or having those thoughts, then those pathways become strengthened. It's
Right.
like supposing you're going somewhere, you're walking and you're walking along a pathway through a jungle, supposing you're going for a trek.
Yeah.
So if it's a path on which many people have been going for trekking, then it becomes a strong path,
Ji.
right? And then other people who come also will go the same way.
Ji.
Similarly, as we spoke about default setting,
Right.
so there forms a default setting in our brain.
Right.
So that default setting can be about unhealthy
Yeah.
emotions and unhealthy belief,
Yeah.
or healthy beliefs and healthy emotions.
Emotions.
So whatever we practice more,
Yeah.
that will become our default setting. So it is possible to change our way of thinking. Sometimes people say, I'm like this, bas, I'm like this, I can't
yeah.
change. No, it means I don't want to change.
Yeah.
I can change.
Yeah.
We definitely can change. Because that's the only thing we can change, ourselves.
Right.
But we are all willing to change others, which is beyond our control.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. So there's so much that we've learned today from you, and I think this is so beautiful. Can we summarize the entire thing so that everybody can, take it with them in a
Yes.
proper way?
So since maybe you are hearing it for the first time, when you went to kindergarten for the first time,
Yeah,
like they didn't start with essays for you.
yeah,
They started with A, B, C, D,
Yeah.
E. So I'll also summarize with A, B, C, D, E.
sure.
So REBT also has A, B, C, D, E. So maybe you can write
Yes,
it down.
Yes, I would love to.
So A is for activating event,
Right.
what happens to us. B is the belief, what I think about that situation.
Right.
C is the consequences. What happens?
Yeah.
What happens? That is, what is the emotion I feel? What is the behavior I engage in?
Yeah.
What are the changes that happen in my body?
Yeah.
Then D is disputing. That is when we ask ourselves the question that what I'm thinking, is it real? What is the evidence for this? Is it logical, realistic, flexible?
Gee.
Am I focusing on my goal? That is disputing, challenging our thoughts.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And E is effective new thinking.
Right.
When we diagnose that we have a faulty belief, we work on it and try to make a shift to a healthier, more effective belief or effective way of thinking. So that's the ABCDE of REBT.
Beautiful, beautiful. So if we start from A, we should be able to reach to the E, which is effective new thinking, which is probably our goal, and which is probably where we started from. I mean, we started from why are these emotions so important and why do they control us a lot of the times. But we've transitioned it to see how we can manage our emotions, and like you so beautifully said, with that we can lead a happier life, even a healthier one probably, because that stress would not be there, and our relationships would be so beautiful, Pavitra ji. I mean, not putting the blame on some other person and not blaming the outside situations and circumstances.
And being kind to yourself too.
Oh, yes, yes.
So we are gradual even in this transition.
Beautiful.
So if I have a belief that I must be having only healthy beliefs, then again we are doing the same thing. So be kind to yourself and give yourself time to make this transition.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's been wonderful learning this from you and knowing this from you, and I really hope everyone who's joined us in this workshop today also takes away a lot of substance from this little interaction, and we really hope that we are able to put this in practice and make our lives more happier.
I hope I can do so too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Such a pleasure. Thank you.